Okay. All right. And change the view. All right. So I thought in honor of Valentine's Day that I would just talk a little bit about some aspects of self-love, because it's kind of tricky. I always say it's we know too much about ourselves to really be able to totally love ourselves. But we're going to go into some of that. But first, I want to bring our energies together and just use the breath to kind of settle in and open up. Because as always, the greatest power, I guess you could say, of any of these talks that I do really comes from the energy transmission. And it's because we gather our energies and we tune into that higher essence of ourselves. So we're going to just take a couple minutes to close your eyes and take a nice deep breath. And exhale and send the exhale down into your body. And then I want you to feel as if you're inhaling up from your root and send the breath out the top of your head. Like you're giving everything about today, everything about yourself, you're giving it to heaven. You're giving it to the heavens, to God, to the divine. And then inhale as if you're inhaling through the top of your head. Then suck in grace and light and exhale and shoot it down, all the way down your body, out your feet and into the earth. So we're really rinsing our energies. And breathe up from the bottom, out the top. Breathe light in through your head and exhale down. And just feel and kind of set your own intention that you are in alignment with divine presence, with your own highest teacher, your own highest soul self. That your soul, spirit, would open your mind and your heart to everything that you need to hear today. And let it land deep in your being. And may we all come away from this night with a greater sense of who and what we are in the eyes of the higher realms, so that we can be a little kinder and nicer to ourselves as we go forward. So, how does that feel? It felt good, huh? Take a few more breaths if you need to. Just kind of let the whole day fall away, so you're totally present and totally aligned with the energies here and now. Very good, very good. So I had a few points that I wrote down about the idea of self-love. Sometimes it's like asking us to love ourselves is about as big a task as being told to jump across the Grand Canyon. It's a big stretch. But part of that comes, I think, there's several reasons here. It comes from kind of a faulty concept of what love actually is. In so many ways, we equate love with approval. And let's face it, we don't always approve of what we do and what we say and how we behave because we're not perfect. And that should not knock us out of loving ourselves. But we have this idea that if we love something or someone, they need to be pretty close to perfect. If you're in a relationship, you know that that's not true. And we need to develop relationships with ourselves. That was one of the first things I said to myself after my divorce, that I didn't really know who I was outside of the roles that I'd played as mom, grandma, wife, mother, all that. And I needed to develop a relationship with myself. And a good relationship then, of course, is based on acceptance, kindness, compassion, listening. So we're not very good friends to ourselves sometimes. I wanted to share something that I learned from my daughter, Jess. She had her first baby at 40, and the second one came along just before she turned 42. So she shared with me her phone wallpaper, and it said, "The voice you hear as a child becomes your inner voice." And we all know that inner voice that we have. You're not trying hard enough, do more. You've got to make them like you. You've got to show up a certain way. Oh, you didn't handle that well. Yeah, and on and on and on. And it's because that's what we heard as children. Our parents, of course, to give them credit where hopefully it's due, they were living in their own fear messages and fear paradigms. And they wanted us to be okay. So they're constantly correcting us. And so we end up feeling like we are basically flawed. I work, when I do healing work with people, I work with their chakras. And the root chakra, which is where you're sitting on it, by the way, if you don't know, your root chakra, just like the taproot of a tree, has to be strong and secure. And most of us have varying degrees, basically, of root rot. You have a plant and you water it and water it and water it, and it just gets sicker and sicker and sicker. It's because its roots are rotten. And we have a little bit of root rot going on that we have, and we spend the rest of our lives trying to fix it. And so we have this sense that we're inherently flawed, and there's not much we can do about it except compensate. And so as we learn and we heal and we grow and we study and we transform, we learn how to deal with that. We learn that our parents were dealing with their own stuff. And we learn to forgive ourselves, and we learn to love ourselves, and we learn to be kinder to ourselves. And if you were raised with a lot of religion, the concept of original sin doesn't help any. You're basically flawed and going straight to hell unless you do certain things. And so we've got the cards in this deck stacked against us for self-love as we really come in as innocent children. So kind of being with that and realizing that that's part of the inner healing. I remember I was recovering from my broken hip back in 2007, and a friend of mine gave me some CDs by a wonderful Buddhist nun, Pema Chodron. And she's awesome. She's quite elderly now, but boy, was she a powerhouse. She's a tough old lady from Connecticut. And she had married and had kids, and her kids got grown, and she became a Buddhist nun and a world-renowned teacher. And she talked about self-love in ways, of sharing love. And all of a sudden it hit me that I was able to imagine my best friend, at the time. And the question came, would I treat my best friend? If my best friend came to me talking about the issues that I was facing, would I respond to her the way I'd respond to myself? Hell no. You get over it. Oh, you're just making things up. Just suck it up and just stop. You're being ridiculous. And I thought, oh my gosh, I would never say that to her. But you say it to yourself. Not so much anymore. That was such a turning point for me, because for a long time, whenever I would get down on myself about things, and that's what the early days of my transformation, the broken hip actually triggered a lot, and that's what got me here to Sedona, actually. I don't do it anymore. And there's much more compassion. What we need, because we're wounded, it's not original sin, it's original wound. And everything that we as religious people, perhaps children, considered sin is actually a wound. And so we have all these wounds inside ourselves. Every time our parents were unable or unwilling to meet a need that we had, perhaps we were just a little infant crying in the crib thinking, what the heck am I doing here? I'm cold and I'm wet and I'm hungry, and I was much better before. I was warm and cozy and safe, and nobody is doing anything about it because mom's fixing dinner, taking care of the other kids or doing whatever. And we're lying there feeling unsafe. That's a wound, even though you may be a tiny infant and unaware. Every time an unkind word was spoken, every time we were emotionally unsupported, or worse, rejected, abandoned, and we've all felt that in different ways. Partners, bosses, friends, parents mainly, we were wounded. And so then we turn around and wound ourselves further by telling ourselves to get over it. We're mean to ourselves. And so taking a moment then and realizing that everybody does the best they can in every moment. And for some people, the best they can do is not very good, but we're all doing better. And so one of the tricks that, and some of you have heard this before, the biggest tool that I give people is called benevolent neutrality. And let's face it, we don't approve of everything we do and say. We don't, because we're still learning, we're still growing, and we make mistakes. So when we screw up, when we disappoint ourselves, when we know that we've, haven't been our best, to take a step back, literally, if you need to, literally take a step back and kind of unplug your energy from that feeling like, ooh, I did that, I said that, ooh, and it feels bad. Unplug and literally take a breath into that feeling in your body and send compassion and kindness to yourself. And just stay with that icky feeling in your stomach, your gut, like, that was not good. And just stay with that, the nerves, the nerve bundle at the solar plexus in your heart. And stay there for a minute and send that compassion in, benevolence. So the neutrality comes when you unplug from being like tangled up in it. And then the benevolence comes when you look at yourself with kind eyes, soften your gaze on yourself, relax your forehead and eyebrows and look at yourself. And just take a breath. And right there, that keeps the wound from anchoring deeper and creating more wounding. And it heals, it starts to heal the original trigger for that feeling. Because if you did something today, you said something to somebody, or you messed up, you cut somebody off in traffic and you were embarrassed about yourself or whatever, that started when you were tiny. It's like the program for self-judgment and being harsh on yourself started. It was that program, that app was downloaded into your being way back in the beginning of your time here on earth, and maybe before. But this today just triggered that. So by responding powerfully with that kind breath, realizing that you're not only healing this here and now, but you're going back in time and space and healing when it happened originally. As most of you know, I'm very much into the quantum reality. And in quantum physics and in the quantum field, there is no time and space. The scientists tell us that. Tesla, Einstein, all those people told us that it's beyond time and space. So when you consciously go in and take that breath, step back out of that turmoil that you feel in your body, the ick in your gut, and just realize that you're healing time and space all the way back to the beginning. It's like collapsing a line of dominoes. And just allow that to settle in your body. Typically, we don't feel. We think about feeling. And we judge our feelings. So we've got a database up here between our ears. And the data that's in there is from the past. And it comes from mom and dad and the church and culture and ethnicity and what the neighbors thought about you and what the teacher said and all the stuff. That's your data. That's your Excel formula for calculating things. And so you get a hit on yourself, like, ugh. So that the stomach tightens, the heart rate beats faster. But instead of staying with it, we shoot it up into the database, run it through the database up here that's full of all other people's stuff, and we come out with a meaning. I'm crap. I'm worthless piece of you know what. I never do anything right. When the hell am I going to learn? Da 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 da. So what does that do? It revives the old wounds instead of healing them. And it also attracts, if you think of the law of attraction, it's going to attract more of what actually proves yourself right. Whatever you say about yourself, the universe says, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. So watch what you say about yourself. And take some time now. Take some time after this to step back and give yourself some credit for being a good person. Not a perfect person, but a good person. For being smart, for having made it this far, for Pete's sake. For being successful, for being kind, for being courageous to keep going when things were hard and scary, relationships, deaths, work, all that stuff. Give yourself credit for how well you have done. And take a breath in that and own it. Feel that in your heart. So, how many times have you said to yourself, I shouldn't feel this way? You're down, you're sad, you're upset, you're lonely. I shouldn't feel this way. Well, you do. And there's a reason for it. Every feeling that you have on some level for some reason is coming from some place of legitimacy. It may not be a whole healthy place, but it's a message and it's information. So we deny our feelings, we invalidate ourselves. Most of us as children were taught to be seen and not heard. And what we thought didn't matter. So we've been invalidated most of our lives. And we continue to invalidate ourselves. Oh, I'm just, I shouldn't, I'll get over it, all that stuff. If you're feeling it, go into it again. Don't necessarily buy into it, but notice that, yeah, that feeling came up. And again, stop, pull back, drop down. Take a breath, put your hands on your belly and your heart. Whew. And pause and simply notice, honor the feeling. So what does this do? It heals, it puts us in connection with our higher self. That conscious breath opens the portal to getting information from up there, not here. So when you take that breath, feel like you're pulling in, what do I need to know about this? What would be useful? How can I shift that? How can I release that? So learning to behave with yourself in this way, using these tools, thinking about being benevolent neutrality, noticing how often you invalidate your own thoughts and feelings and desires and needs. And notice how often you argue or try to argue with your feelings. I'm sorry, the feelings are going to win because they're in the subconscious, and the subconscious always wins. So just notice how often during the week or the day you notice, and then start noticing the voice you use with yourself. Is it truly the voice of your heart and your spirit? Or is it somebody else's voice that just kind of got locked in there on a loop and keeps playing? And when you recognize those things, use that formula, unplug, pull back, drop down and breathe. Breathe in grace to heal, release, transform. So we're going to go in and do that now for a few minutes. And we're going to do, once again, use the breath, use visualization to bring in some grace and some fresh energy. Because we all need that healing, loving touch. And this will release some of the pressure of the voice if you still struggle with that much. And honestly, the kinder we are to ourselves, the more forgiving and compassionate we can be with other people. Because usually when we are judgy of other people, it's because we're actually very judgy of ourselves. So get comfortable. Close your eyes. And take a couple of nice breaths. And I want you to, we're going to start. I never know quite how we're going to start. But we're going to start by having you imagine and picture your brain inside your head. And when you have a picture. We all know what a brain looks like. So just imagine that you can see it inside your head. And just take a nice breath through your nose up into your brain. Feel the cool air as it goes up through the nostrils, the sinuses, kind of hits the bottom of the brain case. You feel that coolness. And then exhale out of your brain. And feel that's warm coming out. And just take a few breaths. And as you feel yourself exhaling out of your brain, notice that you can actually kind of feel some energy in your head. And it feels like your brain is getting heavier and more relaxed. And just keep breathing in and out of your brain, bringing fresh energy into the brain, exhaling old heavy energy. And notice that you have a little buzz in your head. And it sets up usually a ring of sensation around your head, your forehead, eyebrows, eyeballs, around your temples, the back of the head. And it may feel tingly, but it may also feel a little bit achy and some pressure, especially around the eyes and the temples. You may feel it a little bit in the back of the head, just above where the neck connects, tension back there. And just keep breathing for a moment. And feel how heavy your brain feels it's become. As if your brain is getting so heavy and so relaxed that it's just kind of slumping down into the bottom of your skull. And just feel the weight of your brain inside your head. And feel that band of energy. And you may notice it particularly around your eyes, the eye sockets, the forehead, above your ears. Pressure and tension from thinking and analyzing and figuring out. From staring at a computer, or from trying to peer into the unknown and get answers. And then as you feel that sensation kind of around that lower part of your skull, bring your awareness now up into the top of your head, just below the crown chakra, where it feels like your brain actually did let go and slide down. Put your attention there and look into that place in your head. And notice that it feels like there actually is a space. And notice how quiet it is. This is like the stillness of your soul when you're not busy being human. Feel the peace up there. And it may even look bright. It may even look light. Like there's light coming in the top of your head, your crown chakra. So you may see a layer of light that's kind of sitting above that tingly layer. And just stay with that quiet for a moment and breathe. Feel like you can inhale that stillness and peace. Feel like you're breathing it down into your chest. Perhaps this is what Jesus spoke of when he talked about the peace that passes understanding. Just allow yourself to savor that. Feel it go down into your gut, your heart. And realize this is the truth of your being. This is what it feels like. To be centered in presence. You may even notice that you're feeling love. Feel like that top of your head is filling with love. This is the love of your soul, of God, of the divine, the higher beings for you. It has nothing to do with what you do or say, how well you perform. Just feel peace, stillness, and absolute love. This is the love that drives out fear, because we realize the fear is a lie. Now, keeping that awareness, bring your awareness back to that layer of tingly sensation down below, and notice that it's actually starting to dissolve and run down your body. And allow this tingling to actually carry the energy of all the imprints of harsh words, harsh actions, of all the harsh things of life that have marked us, even our own words. And then feel it start to run down through the eyes. Perhaps the ache is from unshed tears, down through your cheeks, your jaw, the tightness of the jaw. Feel free to move it if you wish. Feel it run down the back of your neck, the tension we feel of trying to be okay and do it right, get it right. Feel it run down the back of your neck. Feel it run down the sides of your neck, your ears. Your ears may get hot and tingly inside your brain. It may tickle. We've all heard unkind words, some of them out of our own mouths. Just kind of let all that brain stuff that has to do with hearing clear. Let it run down your face and into your throat. Let it run down around your mouth, your lips. Feel the tingling around your lips. Feel it go down your throat, clearing your throat of unkind words. Or perhaps not standing up for yourself when unkind things or untrue things were spoken about you. And just feel your throat, almost like it's opening and it's relaxing and softening. The front of your neck, under your chin, your sides of your neck. Just let all that old energy go down from your brain, clearing it out. All the fight flight stuff down your whole torso, down your chest. Feel it over your shoulders. It's running as if it's melting honey. like honey running down your arms, carrying away the old unloving energies, unkind energies, and down your back. Let it run through your heart, your gut. The back muscles were so tight. Down the sides, feel it running over your hips, your buttocks, down through the low belly and the genital area. My goodness, we hold a lot of stored stuff in our genital anatomy, relationships, down the thighs, the knees, the calves, and feel it all drain out the bottoms of your feet, draining deep into Mother Earth. Let it go to Mother Earth. All that data in your head, the wounding in your heart, the tightness in your gut. And just feel the bottoms of your feet buzzy and tingly, maybe your arms too. And now bring your awareness back to the center of your chest. Remembering how we breathe that beautiful light and love and peace and stillness. This is pure divine grace. This is the essence of who and what we are as pure souls, pure spirit, extensions of the divine. Breathe that again into your chest. Chinese medicine tells us the lungs hold grief. And whether we are aware of it or not, we carry a lot of grief, of what we didn't know, of what we put up with, of what we allowed to be done to us or spoken to us or about us, of what we have done ourselves or failed to allow ourselves to do. The things, the harsh words we have spoken to ourselves. Deep inside, there's a wounded part of us that knows the truth. So breathe that light into your lungs and imagine that with every inhale, you're breathing brilliant, bright light, filling your lungs and exhaling all the gray, heavy residue of what you didn't realize. We don't know. We didn't know. This has been normal for humans, but no more. We are learning to love ourselves as we are loved by God, by the divine. It's not about judgment. It's about healing us through love, compassion, acceptance, and understanding. Breathe that into your body, into your lungs. Compassion, and exhale, lack of compassion. Breathe in clarity and understanding. Your soul understands you perfectly. Breathe in acceptance. You are not an accident, and God is not scared because you're missing the mark. There is no mark. Breathe in that loving acceptance of the fact that you as a soul came to work through these very issues, and you're doing a great job. Feel your lungs fill with white light. And feel yourself filled up and lifted up as if they are brilliant, they are inside angel wings, like feathers, fluffy feathers holding you up. And feel yourself lifted up out of the heaviness of all that lack of love and harshness that we have been living with. And feel that place between your shoulder blades where we take those emotional backstabs, the unkind words and deeds. And just breathe into that place and allow all those daggers and spears and poison darts of mean words to be pulled out of us. And as you take a deep breath into that place in your back behind the heart, where it usually hurts because we slouch, feel how good it feels to breathe big into that space. Breathe light back there. And now bring your awareness to your heart again. The heart is cocooned inside the lungs. And when the lungs have been heavy and filled with grief, weighted down, the heart gets squished. So as you breathe, make space around your heart. Breathe room around your heart. Give it some space to get big. Ooh. And feel it expand in your chest. Perhaps if there's been a wire cage around it, protecting it, keeping it locked away, let your breath just dissolve that. Let your heart get big and beautiful and bold and brave and knowledgeable, wise, aware, creative, daring, appreciative. And just look at your heart and send it all those wonderful things, knowing your heart has the capacity to create dreams, possibilities, adventures, delight, loving experiences of all kinds, big and little. Doesn't matter where we are in life, our heart can create magical things once it's given the freedom to do so. And as you breathe into your heart, look into it and feel how lively it is. Feel how happy your heart is to be set free. And as you take those big, big breaths, how much light and energy and love and possibility can you actually breathe into that center of your chest? Your muscles may be tight from slouching over and protecting your heart. Open your shoulders, open your chest, and just allow more in. And as you look into your heart, to realize it is a living energy, not just a pump for blood. As you look into your heart, feel it as alive and aware and intelligent. And as you look in, imagine that you are looking into your own face, your own eyes. Let your eyes of your heart look back at you. The Bible also talks about the eyes of your heart being opened. Let your heart's eyes be wide open and looking back at you with love, with joy, with connection, with partnership, with a little sparkle for adventure and dreams and creation. And as you look into your own eyes, looking back at you from your heart, make a promise to your heart that you will listen. You will listen to this voice not necessarily, not just the voice between the ears, other people's stuff. So we're going to take care of that right now. As you breathe into your heart, breathe from your heart up to your brain. And feel and see brilliant energy, brilliant light, lighting up your brain. And exhale from your brain back to your heart. And inhale up. And exhale down, and feel and imagine that you can feel this column of energy connecting your brain and your heart. And feel your brain kind of wake up too, to greater possibility, greater love, greater compassion, greater understanding. It's like your brain got a big aha. And as you breathe this fresh energy into your brain, realize that it's dissolving and neutralizing the old voices that are not yours. Releasing all the old programming of judgment, of harshness, of unkindness, of limitation, of playing small, self-sabotage. And breathe fresh energy into the brain instead. Good. And now exhale down to the heart. Feel the connection. Feel how happy your heart is right now. Feel how happy your brain is right now. It's like they got this fresh input. Feel expanded. It's like you suddenly got bigger. Good. And now we're going to take that column of energy and share the love and the joy and the good feeling with the rest of your body, the rest of your chakras. And I'm going to have you take that energy into your solar plexus, the gut where it's tight. And I want you to, it's almost like we're going to blow out all the ick energy from your solar plexus. So when you inhale, inhale from your heart, your brain, and exhale out your solar plexus like you're blowing out all the gunk. Out the back of your spine, out the front of your gut. Do it a couple of times. All the lies, all the tethering, all the smallness, all the fear. And feel your solar plexus light up with fresh energy. Golden energy, like the sun. And then take another big breath from the heart, the brain, the crown chakra, and then breathe it down into your low belly and blast it out. Make it a nice big breath that you're just blowing out all the gunk that lives down in your low belly, your sacrum. All the dark, heavy, old, stodgy, stuck stuff. And then take another breath, crown chakra, brain, heart, and blow it out, the root chakra. All that root rot, that you are not okay, that you're inherently flawed, blow it out. And let it go down. Feel it going down into the earth. Good. Now go back up to the top of your head. And imagine that at the top of your head is a big funnel, the crown chakra funnel. And imagine that your higher self, your soul, spirit, is pouring in a magical energy elixir. It's clear and bright and white, and it's got like diamond sparks and gold sparks and silver sparks. They're all energies and possibilities. And feel And imagine and picture that this is being poured into the funnel at the top of your crown chakra, and feel it start to work its way down through your brain, bringing new information to your brain, down to your throat, new speaking ability to your throat, speaking love, light, joy, and just feel it start to fill you. Feel it going into your chest and your lungs. Feel your shoulders lift and expand. Filling your lungs with that sparkling white light in your heart. Feel it go into your belly, into your organs, every cell of your body, your hips, your low back, your sacrum. Let it bring some healing and looseness to those tight hips. Low back. So many of us have low back issues. Into your buttocks, into the genital area, all that stuff. Fill it with new energy, new memories, new possibilities. And then down through the legs, the knees, the ankles, and the feet, until your whole body is sparkling with new energy, new information, and new possibility. And then feel it start to expand out of you and fill the room, like the room is filled with sparks of light, cleansing old stuck energies out of your room, clearing away dark things, entities, attachments, little boogers that want to hang out. They feed on dark judgments, by the way, so we don't want any of those. So feel your space being cleared, rejuvenated, refreshed. And then again, remembering that promise to speak with loving kindness, because you are your best friend. And you just got a dose of how your heavenly partners feel about you. So how can you cooperate with that love, that possibility, to make your life even more amazing and magical? We give thanks for this gift. We give thanks for this experience, because this is the truth of who we are. Not those small lies, they're gone. May we live and walk in the memory of this. And may it radically change who we are. And may others notice our light, our liveliness. Oh, and so it is. So it is. So taking a few breaths and then coming back gently into the room when you're ready. Just noticing whatever messages you get.